it's nighttime for me. We're going to be looking at the process to create a level in OK Golf HD. And here you have it used, well, we're using Unity, but this is the directory, so you can create it in shapes and forms. So for example, let's say I want it to be a little bit more of a rectangle. Here we go. So here I have a rectangle. Looks good. Nice little terrain. And the next two things I need are my starting position, which is, you can see here with the ball. Flag, which you can see here. So right now I'm just placing it at a random point. And just a sec, I'm trying to set the volume a little bit. I'm being told it's too quiet. So here we go. Sorry about that. Okay, hopefully this works a little bit better. So as I was saying, I have my flag, I have a golf ball, so I can quickly test that everything is running. And when I press the play button, so here the computer is working a little bit, you'll get to see, here we go. So just gonna mute the game, sounds everywhere. And you can see I have my ball and I can hit it and move forward and then get a hole in, two, maybe, almost. So as you can see, this is just the basics, getting a hole up and running. And yeah, it's hard not to shoot the ball into the hole. Boom. Here we go. Okay, so that was the easy part. Now we're gonna look at actually making a level that is fun to play and that looks good. So the first step is to kind of figure out what the path is going to be, and I cheat a little bit by using a small 3D helper that I place to figure out where my shots are going to be going. So here, let's say I want to start in this corner and I want to make the player go zigzag a little bit. So this would be a maybe par 2 or par 3 hole, I'm not really sure yet. So I have the player starting about here, and then let's say when they land, I want them to take another shot, and you can see they will land on the, roughly speaking, the green area. So here I go. This is very rough right now, I'm just kind of blocking it all out so that I can visualize it a little bit better. So now that I have my rough shots, what I'm going to be doing next is actually painting the terrain to represent the actual surfaces that I want. So that's here I have the putting green, and I'm just going at it really rough to start, and then I can make it a little bit more detailed as I want. So let's say I want maybe a small bunker here. So generally we actually start with a 2D map, but here the idea is more to share a little bit about our process and show you how we make the game. There we go. So next, let's do some fairway and sorry, it's taking a little bit longer than expected. Sorry, I'm trying to. We seem to have a small issue with the broadcast on Steam, and trying to troubleshoot it at the same time. So let's say I have my fairway going a bit of a dog leg. And surrounded by greenery with maybe some water on one edge, and why not have a bit of a river thing going on. Again, all of this is very rough, but we'll be cleaning it up as we go along. Here we go. Islands always look good, so we'll give it a bit of a archipelago look. I guess that's the unofficial theme for tonight. It doesn't look like much right now, but you'll see as the detail goes in, it'll start to get its own character. So this is our out of bounds or dirt. It's where we're going to be placing trees, and generally the way most of our levels work is the player has a nice clean pathway that's easy to read and to understand, and just like you would have in a regular golf course. So this is the slight dogleg pathway that they can take and go and get to the flag. And then we've generally worked with the since it's a game and we're not really doing actual golf, we have shortcuts that the player can take to get a better score, and we'll look at it in just a minute, where to place the shortcut. And here the water is here to kind of tell the player, hey, watch out, you can't be too lazy when you take your shot, otherwise you're going to end up in the water and, well, lose a stroke. So here, almost done with our first boss. First boss is just a rough, it's kind of like, if you think of it as a piece of art or a drawing, you would first pencil in everything, and then once you're happy and it's looking more or less the way you would like it to, you can then go in and work the detail in, iron out the kinks and folds, and you've got yourself a golf level. It's very almost therapeutic making levels for hockey golf. So we've got our 2 shots, and let's see what we're gonna do with the shortcut. So the shortcut would be a rather difficult shot that you need to take, and that gives you access faster, gives you access to the putting green faster. So here we'll probably give a pathway that goes to the left, and that allows the player to do maybe a hole in 2 shots, and we're gonna make the path on the right a little bit more of a deviation, so that there's a real advantage to going with the shortcut, but more of a challenge, and we'll figure out the challenge part in just a minute. So what we're gonna add here is just a few trees to get our base cover, and then we're gonna play through it to have an idea of just a couple of trees, and we're good to go. It's rough, but don't worry, we'll get there. We'll make it look nice and beautiful and do justice to the beautiful art that Charles made. So this is one of our newer levels. We want to try and explore settings that are a little bit more non-traditional and, you know, whimsical. So this one is we'll see it better in just a minute. This is felt and fabric world, so we're gonna play it. Oh, and you'll get to see it in close-up detail. So as you can see, the level looks much better with the game running. We've got beautiful grass, great textures, and my computer's getting a little bit difficult now. So I just realized I made a small mistake. You can see that my ball is not where it should be. So we're gonna quickly stop and restart. The joys of development. It's all in the little details. Here we go. here we go. So you can see the ball is here, and we have a beautiful world made out of fabric with nice fairways, leathery dirt, fabric trees, and denim water, which looks really nice with zipper trim. So it really feels like you're in a fantasy world or in a kind of tailor's dream, maybe. And here you have beautiful textures and a felt on the putting green. Let's play. So as you can see, the little markers that I had earlier gave me an idea of where the ball would be going. And that's our first shot. Let's see. Okay, cool. So it's a par 3. We get to the putting green on our second shot, and the third one should take us in if nothing goes wrong. Ta-da! So now what we want to do is figure out the shortcut, and the shortcut would be taking us, you know, somewhere over these trees and onto the edge on the other side. But right now it hasn't been properly done, so we wouldn't be able to. The idea is to shoot through here, land on the edge over here, and from here take a nice direct shot into the hole. So you would save yourself one extra shot. So we'll quickly get that and give it another play. Alright, let's get it running quickly. So we want to extend the ridge over there. So the goal with the shortcut here is to give it a little bit the goal of the shortcut is to have the player observe what the level is and identify potential shortcuts, and then have to do a really well executed shot to get an edge or get ahead. And what we're going to do here is have a nice dense forest with just an opening that allows the player to have a shot, a really precise shot to get them through the forest and across the water. So here I'm extending the terrain a little bit so that the player can actually land there, and we'll add just a tiny bit of decoration so that it feels nice and natural. So that's this over here, and we'll make it rough so that the player doesn't really think of landing there. And then we'll just quickly move the trees around and create our shot pathway, as it were. We'll add a few more trees because this is not nearly dense enough. So I can just paint them anywhere, and then I'll move them quickly to where I need them to be. And here we want a really narrow passageway that the player has to see and then take a shot through. So it's a bit hard to read now with all of the gizmos in the way, but we're getting there. We need a few more trees, and we'll disable what we don't need so that it's just a little bit easier to read. So we're still doing gardening. Maybe another couple of trees and we should be good. Alright, I think this is a good first pass. We'll clean it up and then give it a try and see how it plays. Since after all that's kind of the most important thing. Here we go. We'll add a little bit more detail with our starting T. And that should give us a nice clean line. Okay, let's play. So you can kind of see there's a small gap in the trees and you have to do an overpowered shot that's rather precise, otherwise you'll hit the trees on either side. And yeah, landing has to also be precise, otherwise boom, you fall into the rough. So here my shortcut didn't really work so well, but that was also because I didn't take a very good shot. So let's try again and see if it was the shot or the level itself. Boom, center. Okay, so we'll need to change the terrain a tiny bit so that the landing actually works as is intended. So we've been hard at work on OK Golf HD for a while now, and this is one of the 2 new courses that we're going to be introducing with it. The other one you can see a couple of screenshots of on the Steam page. It's a more of a Tron inspired level with virtual reality, kind of retro virtual reality look, whereas in this one we're going a little bit more whimsical and engaging and friendly. music that you're hearing in the background are actually brand new tracks made just for OK Golf HD by a very talented musician, Haakon Davidsen, who has a SoundCloud, and I'll post the link to the SoundCloud on the description, in the video description. But they're really nice and beautiful and accompany you in your little moment of zen, which is really the nice thing with OK Golf, is it's just as relaxing making levels for it as it is playing. That is until you miss that hole-in-one by a tiny sliver, and then you replay and replay and replay until you get it right. And making levels is a little bit of the same. You kind of try a few things and again until you're happy with the end result. And you feel like you're doing the image in your head justice. So it's still a little bit rough, but the goal here is more to get a first pass of our level, and then make a few more, come and replay it, see how it compares with the old ones, and adjust. Cyclical development, as it were. So I won't fill in the full leather. We're just gonna see if everything still plays nicely. Let's try it again. Okay, so just now it's still falling in the rough, so I'll probably need to we're actually clearing it just okay. So here, let's see if we can get into the hole on the second shot, and boom. Almost. that was a close one, but it gets us to see the beautiful water. It's really nice. It almost makes you want to play the game zoomed in all the time. I'm really looking forward to making more levels in this one. It's super nice. Almost. Dun dun. So let's retry one more time. I really want to see if I can get it in 2 shots. First. Okay, and now our second shot. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to change the terrain a little bit so that the bounce is just right. Oh man! This was like 2 millimeters. So close. Okay. Third time's the charm. Maybe. Maybe. Okay, no. Third time. unlucky. Okay, so I'm gonna have to adjust a few things on the level itself. Okay, so first thing is maybe be a little bit more generous on the landing area so that when the player lands here, they don't end in the rough or in the bunker right off the bat. This, like this, alright. And as always, we'll clean it up in post. Okay, here we go. And then maybe move the golf ball a tiny bit. Actually, let's try back so that we can get a roll. Try and roll the ball in rather than have it bounce directly inside. Okay. So we're gonna have to move a few trees. We're gonna move some of the trees over here, a little bit back, since we don't want any of them on the fairway. That would not be very popular. Okay. So the bunkers here are actually made out of wool, whereas the putting green is felt and the fairway is a nice fabric. All we're missing are a couple of sewing needles and we are good to go. Let's go. Alright, so a lot more clearance here. It's almost too easy, but it's always easier to make it harder than it is to make it easier. And it's all in the timing. Oink, okay, still no. Alright. This is the difficulty with sloped terrain, where you kind of have to play it to figure out where the ball is going to land. And after you've got your 9 out of 10 hits, you can get a trend or a pattern going. And then move the And if you do a regular shot, actually not even. Okay, perfect. We're gonna leave it here for now, and we're gonna turn our attention to the fairway. So as you can see, you've got the shortcut pathway going through here, and the fairway taking a kind of an arc. So you're just gonna see where the ball lands on the first shot, and then add a little bit of danger with the bunker and the rough around it, and the same with the second one. So let's have a look now. So boom, there I go. I need to take an overpowered shot. So yeah, the OK Golf is essentially we've worked to streamline the rules of golf into something that's really easy to pick up. We're not golf players. I've maybe played once in my life. So here it's pretty simple. There's no clubs. You just pull back with the mouse or the stick, and you have your regular shot, which you can see is quite precise, but doesn't cover as much ground. And then if you pull further, you can get an overpowered shot, which gives you a lot more range, but you then have a bit of a timing challenge with a trajectory moving in and around the circle. So you can keep that precision, but you have to get your timing right. So here I did an overpowered shot, and it's really safe right now. That's kind of what I'll be doing in the second pass. And then second shot, same idea, and you have to be careful not to hit trees or fall into the either the water. So let's take a shot into the water. Boop. You reset. Again, we simplified it compared to more simulation-y golf games where you would actually restart next to the water and it would just count a stroke. And here this is our out of bounds, so you just it removes a stroke from your score. Simple, easy to get into, and you don't have to worry about all of the mulligans and other rules. So here I want to get into the putting green, and I take my shots. Here I come, felted putting green, and here the controls change. And you can, as you can see, if I go into my shot taking mode, I just get a line, and it has no verticality, no loft, so you just take your shots in a straight line and boom. It was pretty close, so this one was quite easy. I'm just gonna try the shortcut one last time before I go back to editing the terrain. So shortcuts, we almost always ask the player to do a precise shot, an overpowered shot, so that there's a level of challenge to it. And boing, here we go. You can see there's a slope on the terrain, so the ball landed and then went sideways, and here it thankfully didn't continue and fall into the bunker. So I'm going to do another attempt at a hole-in-one, but okay, there's a chance here. We can kind of see the white dot going there, and I just need to time it, and I hit just too early. So can I chip it in? No! Okay, I'm terrible. You wouldn't think I actually ever played this, but in my defense, it's different when there's an audience. So here you can see the effect. Since you're in a bunker and the sand, the shot is much harder to take, and we've simplified it. Instead of having different ranges with different clubs and all those complications, we reduced the range and increased the radius in which the ball might land, so it's a little bit harder for you to figure out. We're still working on the values, so right now this is a little bit too short, but we'll be taking a look at it next. So here I am back on the putting green, and here's another attempt. Ta-da! Putting's easier than actually shooting the ball, which is a little bit of a departure from real golf. But again, the goal here is to have something that's relaxing and pleasant to play, with a nice dose of challenge, but not a simulation. So here we have our little helpers to tell us where the ball might be landing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a little bit of sand here, or actually wool in this case, and I'm gonna narrow it a little bit by adding trees on this side too. So here we go. Back into editing mode. So we're gonna move some of the trees from here because I want to open it up a bit. The player doesn't feel like they're in a corridor right off the bat. And same here. I'm gonna try and guide the player. Another small decorative island. Scary out of bounds. Some rough grass. So rough is a little bit like the bunkers, except they're not as punishing in terms of loss of precision. Your shots are worse than on fairway, but not as bad as a bunker. So we've got our island of trees here. The painting's more of an art form than a science. Here we go. I think this is gonna be fine. This is a very simple level, and obviously the challenge level of the level is not really well thought out, but that can then be arranged once we've got the main paths going and we've had a few more play sessions. Since we can't really, it's hard to guess what every other shot that the player might take. We're always surprised by how players do things very differently than what you sometimes expect them to. So here we go, and then we're gonna just add a small bunker here. It's very bunkery, but hey. A bit of water. So if there's too many dead areas, it's a good idea to put water. It always looks good, and it's a clear indicator to the player that there's nothing here. Look away. Here be monsters. So we were aiming for islands at the very beginning, and we're starting to get there. Alright, I'm just going to move a few more trees and then we're going to give it a play. I think I might have already done it a little bit, but once we're happy with the look, we'll just take a big eraser and sort it all out. Okay, this will have to do for now. Little patchwork. Quick and easy, and we're good to go. Actually, almost. I forgot a few trees. Like I was saying, it's just like in golf, you might retry taking a shot until you get it right. It can be the same when you're making a level. You kind of get obsessed with that little detail, and an hour and a half later you're like, oh no, what about the rest of the level? Let's play. Dun, dun, dun. It says Long Lake County, but clearly we need a better name for this. And actually, if you have suggestions, don't hesitate. We have either a Discord or the Steam forums. Come in and pitch in for the name of the level. It's Fabric World, Gulliver's. Oops, I think. Okay, alright. Almost on the putting one, but this is actually going to make it easier for me. So yeah, as I was saying, we've got Discord up and running. You can find the link from the video description, and you can also find us on Steam. Just look for OK Golf HD. Oh my goodness. Ta-da. Actually, all right. So now we can see. So it's a par 3, and as you can see, anytime I take a shot, that beautiful number is going to go up. Is it this going to be the time I actually get it in 2 shots? Come on. Almost. Ah, man. That was bad. It's okay, I still get a par, which is not so bad. Ta-da! There we go. Anyhow, this is a small preview of how we make levels. This is the bit of a test level for one of our new worlds. And actually next week we're taking, actually on the 14th, 15th, we're taking part in the Steam Summer Games Festival, and a demo, you're going to be able to play a demo of the game, and we're going to do a live stream next Sunday, so a week from now. We'll play the demo and show some of the other levels, but here you can kind of get a small sneak peek at what you'd be playing in the demo. So the demo contains all of Long Lake County, which is the first level in the game. It's a nice level that's kind of based on Georgia setting with old lighthouses and beautiful lakes. And here we can play the first level. which is this was actually a brand new one that we made just for OK Golf HD, showcasing some of the new tech we have for the grass and the terrain edges. So now it looks much nicer with the reflective water and all around lots of visual improvements that make it really shine. It's looking really great. Can I make it? I'll play a couple of holes and kind of show you, so you can see it's quite similar to the level we were just making, in that you've got your putting green, your fairway, rough. Each level has its own feel. So here actually we're going to be able to take a short put. So this is your regular shot, and then we've got a nice opportunity for that was close. So now if I hit it just right, I can, ta-da, birdie, finally. Not on the original hole, but I'll take it. And maybe we can have a look at a couple of other holes. You get to have a sneak peek of what you would be seeing. We'll show a lot more in the next live stream, but we've got, I think, almost 16 or 17 courses right now. And we're working on a couple of extra ones. So this is Scotland, Miami, beautiful England, Paris. We take you to Nepal, and you can see there's a lot of variety, and each of them has its own look and feel. As well as, so it's not only the look, but we also play around a little bit with the gameplay. So for example, in Scotland, we've got wind, so you can see the nice wind trails since you're by the coast, and you've got the grass that's reacting to it, and the water is a little bit less calm than in the previous one. Everything to kind of tell you, hey, this one's not going to be as easy. And as you can see, the arc is affected by the wind, so when you move it around, when you move your shot around, it'll get deviated by the wind. So it's our own little take on wind mechanics in a golf game, so you can kind of see it shot sideways. I'm not playing very well, but hopefully I can get us so close. So every level has its own color palette, terrain, and a small twist on the gameplay. So in this particular one, it's wind. Ta-da! Small showcase. We're trying to create nice and beautiful dioramas and miniatures for players to kind of immerse themselves when they play. Hopefully as much as we get immersed in building it, you kind of get lost in the little world. Oof, I don't think I'm gonna get a birdie in this one. Oof, that was lucky. Dun-dun. All right, and I think that's gonna be it for me tonight. Thanks for everyone who's joined us. I'm sorry for the little hiccups at the opening. This being our first live stream, we're really still figuring things out. I'll be posting the links to our Steam page and to the kind Haakon Davidsen SoundCloud, where you can see more of his music. And feel free to join us on either Discord or just the Steam forums. We'd love to hear your thoughts, what you'd like to see in the next live stream, or any other suggestion you might have. Thank you again, and until next time. Bye!